Hi, I'm back, and we're continuing talking about celebrations and special occasions. I'm on the Be Selective slide. It mentions all those foods we were talking about, Thanksgiving in particular, but even church potluck. There's not a lot of balance. The food tends to be mostly carbohydrates. Um, People talk about, before Thanksgiving, oh, don't eat too much turkey. Let me tell you, that turkey, especially if it's roasted, roasting is a dry cooking method. It's not using extra fat. That turkey is it's a lean meat. Um, the turkey is probably the healthiest thing on the menu. We do want to balance it out. Here's our protein, just less than a fourth of the plate. Um, yes, it's the carbs, the mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes. And if you have mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes, I can't do it. I can't do mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes and corn at my Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, that's me. Because there is stuffing. There's stuffing too, and rolls, and cranberry sauce, which is just sugar, and especially like cranberry jelly, and pie. Um, there's lots of opportunity to not have balance. So we say, okay, you can either just decide to choose your favorites, one or two favorites, put them on your plate, or do we need to taste everything? Well, then honestly, it's going to be much, much smaller portions, a taste of everything. That's if you decide to do that. Honestly, when people tell me, oh, how do I do a healthy Thanksgiving? My response is, eat what you want, but be mindful, you know, try the rest of the year. Thanksgiving is one meal. So I love how people try to make that one meal healthy and balanced, and I'm all for that. But why worry about one meal when there's the rest of the year to also focus on our daily, everyday life? Um, Otherwise, just push away from the table after one plate. If we get so full, we need to go to sleep after Thanksgiving dinner, unfortunately. And that means we ate too much. It's not the tryptophan in the turkey, it's that we stuffed ourselves, probably. Um, Modifying recipes can be done. Uh, Look at those change in high calorie ingredients. Nuts, like I've mentioned before, nuts are great. They have a good fat. They just add more calories. So I would probably lean more towards pumpkin pie instead of pecan pie, just because there's sugar in both of them, both pies, but then the pecan pie has pecans and a lot of them, so it's very high fat as well as the sugar. Cheese, mm, do what you can to eat a little less cheese. Let's just be mindful of the cheese. I want my cheesy things appropriately cheesy, macaroni and cheese. You might try maybe doing half and half, half low fat cheese, half regular, or go for it and do the low fat cheese, especially if there's like butter in your macaroni and cheese, trying to balance out those fats, those high calorie ingredients. Meat, like if it's a lean white meat turkey, I don't mind getting a little bit extra of that. Uh, Fatty meats like bacon, ribs, chicharron, um, though that's barely even meat. It's mostly fat. Um, I'm not even too worried about dark meat turkey or dark meat chicken. I would be more concerned if you can see the fat. I saw some short ribs recently, and they had a fair amount of fat on them. Um, so just any meat you can see the fat. But if we're being mindful, just trying to stick to, you know, a smaller portion of meat or beef. Uh, but yeah, that Thanksgiving turkey, I love that Thanksgiving turkey, especially if it's roasted. Um, you can do 4 or 5 ounces, you know, the size of the palm of um, a small hand. Some guys have big, big hands like this. It's a small hand. So think of the size of a deck of playing cards, but if it's lean white meat turkey, I'm okay with a little more of that. Sugar, um, for your Thanksgiving or whenever you have people over or some kind of celebration, please try to include some kind of sugar-free drink. So unsweetened tea. Um, I like some like uh, Crystal Light makes a great tea. Uh, like peach teas and lemon teas, and they don't really have sugar in them. Yes, they're flavored with artificial sweetener, but that's not sugar. Um, even have diet drinks available. Just provide an option for people, and of course, water. Maybe provide lemon to put water in. Just you don't just want to have soda or sweet tea when you're having people over. Cutting back on the fat, I would say you could definitely get away with this for side dishes. It'd be a little bit harder in some desserts. Fat like butter, oil, you can just use or manteca or lard. You can just use if you're trying to saute something. You can saute onions in some water or just cut back on the fat. Saute vegetables, maybe just steam the vegetables um, instead of sauteing them in oil or butter. Uh, for baking, it is harder to get away with because all the properties of the recipe kind of work together to make a good product. So I make lemon squares, lemon bars, and there is some serious butter in that crust. Um, I wouldn't necessarily change it. That's my choice. But the portions are going to be cut pretty small. Pretty small. Um, you can enjoy, these wonderfully rich foods. Just the portion has to be really appropriate. If you haven't tried it yet, and those of you that have, I think are very happy with, you know, a great quality, lemon bar taste and done, having coffee with that and just enjoying your sweet. Um, as opposed to, oh, I have a light, uh, something with less fat, less sugar, maybe artificial sweetener in it, and it might not be as satisfying even if you get, a bigger portion of it. I two schools of thought. Do you want something bigger, a bigger portion of something with less fat, less sugar, um, and artificial sweetener, or do you want a pretty small portion of the real thing and you're done? They really both of those are kind of your options. Salt, we do get to reduce the salt um, really well. Remember, take care of you and maybe just encourage people. You can use low sodium broth instead of regular broth or broth cubes. You can add a little more lemon juice to something. You'll be surprised, just a little more acid will trigger a lot more flavor. Um, I talked about baking that turkey. So I haven't tried a fried turkey. I'd be willing to, and people tell me it's not. It's very lean still. So, um, and it's in a peanut oil. But just over, we have chicken fried steak comes to mind. A large portion of beef, and you're basically adding about 4 slices of bread to it. I'll be right back and we'll finish out this lesson. Thank you all.